Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be doing another like college application video type thing because I know you guys really like these videos when I do them, because I've done quite a few where like I told you guys what my grades were, what my extracurriculars were. I even did one where I read out all my college essays, but today I'm going to be telling you how to make your college application stand out, because you can have good extracurriculars and good grades, but if your application blends into every single other one you read, you might not get in. So today I'm going to be telling you guys some of my best tips to have your application stand out, because I know college application season is starting for a lot of you, so I wanted to give you guys some more tips. But if you want to go back and watch a bunch of the old videos for even more tips, like all the videos that I already mentioned at the beginning of this video, I will have the playlist linked down below, so make sure that you go check them out if you need more tips even after this video is over. But I'm going to stop talking now. I have made it a really bad habit making very long intros lately, so I'm going to shut up and let's just get into the video. I also just want to throw out there before we start that I am not an admissions officer. I have never worked on like an admissions board or whatever. These are just things that I did on my college applications that I really found, like I really feel like helps me to get into these certain schools. So these might not be like 100% accuracy, because again, it's always going to depend on your schools and who's reading your essays. But these are just kind of tips that I have heard, and also tips that I feel like really helps me a lot. So just wanted to throw out that quick disclaimer. Okay, so my very first tip is something that actually helps me quite a bit, and actually even helps me think of college essay like ideas and topics, and also help my application stand out. So what I did was I went on the school that I was writing the essays for website, and this like information might be under a tab of like about us, or like our values, or even I think under mine it was like how we'll judge your application. So like any of those things, kind of look for seeing what your school's values are. So for example, mine, when I went under the like how we will evaluate your application, there was a little tab that said like, oh, we want to hear about like your leadership experiences, so whether you have volunteered or if you were the leader of a school's club, etc, etc, we want to hear about that. So what do you think I did? Of course I wrote mainly about my volunteer experience, as well as the fact that I was a leader of one of the clubs at my school, and I spent a lot of time writing about that because they literally said that that's what they want to hear about. Obviously I didn't make it sound like I was just like copying it off the site, because you don't want to do that, but you should take your own experiences and like kind of relate them to what they want to see, because then first of all they will know that you cared enough to like look at their school website, and two, you're literally giving them exactly what they're looking for. So that is definitely one of my more helpful tips and helps me quite a bit. The next thing that you should do is talk about traits that make you a good student, if that makes sense, because they are looking for students who are going to like do well and thrive in their university or college environment. So writing about stories that show that you have skills such as like determination, perseverance, a good work ethic, those sorts of things are going to make you look really good on a college application. You don't want to say like straight up like, I am a very determined individual, because like you're trying too hard at that point. But you want to tell stories that show those attributes without you having to explicitly say them. So for example, for me, they left a box in one of my little college application questions that said, just tell us anything about you that you basically want to. So I told them about my experience doing online school. This was obviously like pre-COVID time and things like that, so like not everyone had done online school at that point already. This was like before that. But anyway, I told them about my online school experience and just told them how basically working in online school environment, how I had to be, you know, self-motivated and like determined in order to get my work done, because I didn't have a teacher pushing me all the time. And I feel like those showed my like skills as a student. And it doesn't have to be a school related thing either. You can talk about how being in a difficult situation has, or like having a difficult job or something like that has like enhanced your work ethic and determination, all that stuff. You can literally look up traits of good students and pick which ones apply to you most and which ones you can relate to in stories the most, and write about those in your college applications. My next tip might be a little bit controversial, but do not tell a sob story. I know everyone thinks that college applications involve sob stories and people are like, oh, I had this happen to me, which means I'm like definitely gonna get into college. And like, I don't really think that's the case. At least on my college applications, there was no question where it really made sense to put in a sob story. And if you did try to put one in, it would just again look like you were trying way too hard. So don't put one in unless like your college has a question that makes it like really easy to fit that in, or two, if your story can like show your positive attributes as a student that I was like talking about earlier in like the first two tips. Unless your like story can like demonstrate like something that I already talked about, don't write about it. Your college doesn't care, and there's absolutely no way to verify if that's true or not, so they're probably going to assume your story's not true. Even if it is true, they're probably just going to assume it's not and that you're just trying to get sympathy. So yeah, I do not recommend writing anything like that. My fourth tip is when you are applying to colleges, write out a list of all the extracurriculars you have done. And they don't have to be extracurriculars you've been doing for like 7 years either. It can be even something small that you've done. It doesn't have to be anything super crazy, but just write down everything that you've done and then pick the extracurriculars that make you seem like a well-rounded applicant. So you want like a little bit of everything if possible. So for me, I wrote about 2 school clubs on mine. I wrote about like a sport, I wrote about a volunteer experience, and I wrote about a job. So those are like kind of things from all different areas of my life. I feel like if you were part of 5 clubs at your school, that's great and all, but like don't write about all 5 because they want to hear about something else that you've done in your life. So do your best to pick out your extracurriculars from your list and try to pick out ones that are the most like balanced and make you look like the most like well-rounded individual as possible. It'll just make you look like a better applicant in general. My next tip is literally so important. And if you're applying to college, you absolutely need to know this. Make sure that every single one of your stories has a life lesson or something that you took away from that experience. So don't just write, like, so say you're writing about a volunteer experience. Don't just write, I volunteered this many hours a week, I did this, 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 and this when I'm volunteering, and then like end your essay. No, nobody cares what your like jobs were. I mean, obviously include it so that they kind of have like a brief understanding about like what you did in your volunteering position, but like don't write a whole essay based on like a list of responsibilities that you had, because like they really don't care. So write your essay, like write those things in for sure that I already said, but also write in, and from this experience I have gained an understanding of what, or from this experience I have learned what. Tell them what you took away from that experience, because that is honestly what they really care about. They don't care about a list of accomplishments. I mean, maybe some schools do, but you want to have a list of accomplishments and lessons that you took away from them. I don't know why colleges care so much about the lessons that you took away from a certain experience, but they really care. So if you want to see like more examples of how I incorporated that into my essays, I will have the video link down below where I like read all of my essays out, and you can kind of see how I like introduced what I was talking about and then put after it like, and this is what I learned from that experience. So I know it can be a little bit hard at first, but once you kind of get the hang of it, it becomes quite a bit easier, and it just makes your essays flow so much nicer and makes them way better to read and will make your application stand out so much more. And my last tip is do not just write things into your application that you think your school is going to want to hear. What I mean by that is, I know that I've been kind of talking this whole video like, oh, give traits that are good for you as a student and talk about experiences that they say they value and things like that. When I say those things, I don't mean just make up an experience or like, oh, I volunteered one time and my school values volunteering, so I'm going to talk about that. Don't do that, because they're gonna know. They're gonna know that you don't care about this certain thing. So honestly, you're way better off writing about things that you do care about, and if those things that you care about also match with your school's values, then you should definitely write about that. But you shouldn't sacrifice writing about something that you're passionate about just so that your application matches with your school's values, because they're gonna know. Like I said, they will know that that is what you are doing. So ideally you want to have both. You want to have like your school's values and like traits of a good student, but you also want to have things that you're passionate about. But overall, things that you're passionate about is always first, because you know how many essays they read about people trying to like make them sound better than they are, and like they know when someone's lying, they know when someone's full on making something up to sound good. So just don't do it. Don't even try to do that. Your application's not going to stand out because everyone does that. But if you talk about something that you are genuinely passionate about, then they will notice that, because that's what they're looking for in students. So I know that that kind of contradicts my first 2 points, but I hope that it kind of makes sense, that you like want to try to balance those two things out. I hope that that makes sense. I don't know if it does, but basically what I've been trying to say this whole time is that like things that you're passionate about should definitely go above just trying to say what they think they want to hear. So anyway, that was my last tip. I know that one was a little bit confusing, but I hope that it makes sense to you guys. And yeah. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you all have a great rest of your day. I was gonna say night because it's nighttime for me, but I realize it's probably not nighttime for all you guys watching this video. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, no matter what time it is. And if you are applying to college this year, I wish you guys the very best of luck. Or even if you're applying to college in a few years, because I know that when I was in like the 9th grade, I was watching these types of videos, even though I was not applying to college anytime soon. So whenever it is that you're applying to college, I wish you the best of luck and hope that these videos can help you. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you're not already subscribed, and give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!